Hello everyone, I hope you are having a fantastic day, week, or month. In this video, I will be showcasing how I modeled and textured a cherry pie. I again got this idea from 3DX. He models some fun looking prop foods and I wanted to see how fast I could model and surface this. It took roughly 3 hours total for modeling, unwrapping, texturing, and lighting. I did not include the render times. This took another hour or so because the render per frame was higher than usual. I'm using a lot of soft select in this project. I still don't have ZBrush, which is on my to-do list. However, this was more of a challenge prop. My mindset was, let's see how fast I can do this with minimal programs. Total programs used, 2, Maya and Substance Painter. If you've noticed, I'm deleting certain faces on this prop. This is because you won't see them and it reduces poly count and makes it easier to unwrap. This is just a static prop to look at. If it was being cut into or taken apart, then I'd keep the faces I deleted, but for now it's just gonna sit pretty. I think the most challenging part of this model was the fact that it was so finicky. I had to do the lattice on top separately. Looking back, maybe I could have grouped some geo together and used an FFD or something. Another part that gave me grief was the crust. I couldn't get it looking right. Once I remembered that this wasn't a centerpiece prop and more of a challenge for myself, I stopped being so picky. Sometimes I see people stacking similar UVs on top of each other. I only did this for the cherries. I didn't do that for the top of the pie. Maybe I'm doing something wrong, but whenever I bake the mesh in Substance Painter, I find the AO gets really wonky. I think maybe I should start baking certain maps in Maya. Here in Substance Painter, you can see I'm using my low poly mesh, and some of the geo is intersecting. That's okay for this. In Maya, it will look fine. What I've done here is I've brought my lower poly mesh, and I've baked the high poly mesh on top of it. This is to 1, make my model more optimal, and 2, use my textures as a substitute for polygons. If I wanted to, I could have used my high mesh and just went from there. Most of the time, I've seen baking maps done for background environments like rocks and trees, or characters, and while this prop isn't either of those, I figured the practice can't hurt. One thing I've used in this project and the last one is my base material. It's actually a stylized texture I created by following a tutorial by Stylized Station. I find for my more cartoony props, it works wonders. I'll leave a link to the channel down below so you can give it a try yourself. Maybe it's mundane, but I didn't want to just have a plain dish for the pie, so I added some fingerprints. I thought it added a bit of character to it. After plugging in all the textures in Maya, I got to light it. I wanted it to be warm lighting like the cheeseburger I made, but I didn't think it looked good for this. I looked at a few reference images and noticed they all had brighter and more daytime looking lights, so I tried to replicate that for my end result. As I've mentioned before, usually I use complementary colors when lighting or surfacing. In this, however, I can't say I stuck to those rules religiously. Red's complementary color is green. While I did choose a light bluey green, teal looking color for the background, the lights I chose were more bright, and one of the lights was a bit more of a lighter red. I thought that complemented the pie nicely. One of the things that was annoying me, that was probably caused by my substance bake, was the weird black-gray edges along the pie plate. I looked at the maps and saw it was the normal map. Instead of rebaking it, I took it into a photo editing program and removed it. I knew if I didn't get rid of it, it would have been an eyesore for the final renders. After looking at some of the renders, I felt like something was missing. Most of those picture-perfect pies, say that 3 times fast, have a bit of sugar on top, so I added sugar. I ended up using FX and Maya called Mash. They had this distribution brush that I tried out. I found it worked fine for this. I didn't mind the look of the sugar on top, but I did have a laugh because I thought the pie looked pretzel-like. Maybe I just didn't get the textures right on the sugar. Regardless, I have 2 versions of this cherry pie, one with sugar and one without. Maybe you can decide which one looks better. And we have reached the end of this video. I hope you enjoy these fully rendered images of my project. I enjoyed this little challenge for myself. In the future, if I needed this prop, I could use it. I even have the luxury of making a different variant of it. Maybe I could turn it into a blueberry pie or a strawberry rhubarb. Is it lattice or lattice? I'm just gonna go with lattice. It sounds fancier.